Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle Earth here with a video update for you on the free-to-play account, as well as some more free-to-play tips for you. It's been about 10 days since we started here on server 710, and it's been going really, really well. We've had some luck, but for the most part, we're just sticking to the kind of efficient grind, if you will, through how we're doing things in the game, how to best use gems, what things to focus on, all that good stuff. So stay tuned, we're going to cover that in just 1 second. I'll show you what I've got in terms of commanders and items and how the server is looking. Okay, so we'll do a quick update before we get into some tips here. But number one, and probably going to be a surprise to some people, is my commander list here. I know this is probably the question I get asked the most. Just want to see the commanders, what's going on with the commanders. So number one, starting out with Khaldun. If you remember correctly, I started out and I put all of my respect items starting out into Grima just to unlock Grima, because you start with Khaldun and you start with Gorbag, and I wanted to get a third commander guaranteed. I felt like Grima was going to be very close to his optimal usage. He does have usage at each respect, but I feel like he gets very good optimal usage at respect 0. So I felt like as a third commander and someone who would, have madness the way his kit works, it seemed like a really good option, and I'm still happy with that. Although I would say I'm getting impatient on getting my Khaldun to R5 because so far I've used all of the blue items for Grima, the Dark Lord's emblem. I've used those on him, but after I unlocked him, everything else I've had, all of the decorative beast bones have gone to Khaldun. In fact, I got a couple more here. So we're slowly making our way to R5. We have Khaldun at R4. Grima's at R2 just from those Dark Lord's emblems after unlocking him. So those are going fantastic. In terms of our Gorbag, he's at respect 2 as well. Same thing from the roasted warg meat. Anytime I've had that, I've given it to him. So we started out using a commander from each of the 3 different blue respect items, the roasted warg meat, the Dark Lord's emblem, and then the Kine horn for Khaldun. So whenever we got those, we gave them to those commanders, and then the decorative bone beast bones are going to Khaldun. So now the exciting part is the full pulls that we have had. So starting out, we did full pull Ugthak. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was from the Shadows Arise chest. This was very, very early on, so most of you probably already know about this. But it was a tier 1 invitation to Ugthak, 3% chance. So again, the reason you do Shadows Arise is because the percentage chance for full pulls is better. You could get lucky in the other ones. You could, even once the Witch King chest comes around, people have pulled Witch King, it happens. But as completely free to play, we kind of got to go with the best, chance here, which is in this chest right here. So we did pull Ugthak. With who we have now, with Lurtz right above him, I don't think he's going to get a ton of use, but we're going to see if we get our other commanders leveled up and can mock battle him in the background and do some stuff with him. We will see. But for the most part, he's going to be doing some pathing for us. The next commander that might look new to you is Ugluk. Now, Ugluk is one that I will consider a bit of an outlier, and I do want everyone to keep in mind the current things happening in the game right now and how that may have affected my progress during this time. It could be different during yours. I hope that the devs keep stuff happening all the time that makes this, similar for other people. But bear in mind, the timeline could change. If you're at 10 days, it may not look like this. It could look better. It could look worse. I don't know. But there is the Flowers in Bloom festival going on here. And so one thing I've used my gems for, in addition to a couple other things which I'll cover in a second, is the Flowers in Bloom. I think the roulette wheel, the 300 gems for a spin, I think is of more value than a Mathem. There are a couple things on here that you could get that would probably make it not as worth it. But again, you hit the gear here, you get 3 pieces of blue gear, and you don't usually get 3 gear pieces. You usually get, green ones, and you usually get, 1 Mathem voucher or whatever. So, getting 5 of the decorative beast bones, there's really not a bad thing on here for 300. So any extra gems I've put into the wheel, and I got lucky enough and got the full pull, which was Ugthak. So that was a bummer because, again, he's not going to see a lot of use right now. But if you've just started out and something like that happens and you just have Ugthak, or you just have, Ugthak or Ugluk, they could be helpful to path. Or you might just have your starting commander from one of these guys, and you got to make him use. You got to make use out of him. So you may have to get familiar with a kit of a character that you're not as familiar with. But those are those 2. And then the real cherry on top for the account right now. So first is Mouth of Sauron. This was a full pull, free daily chest out of just like the normal chest. We just full pulled Mouth of Sauron. This is something that in terms of RNG or luck, we got it on this one. It was kind of ridiculous. Mouth is someone that I wanted to have as soon as possible because I feel like he's a very good counter commander. His skills shut down a lot of commanders, and so my hope is that I'll use him to some pretty good effect in PvP, put some tanky units with him, some trolls or something like that, and see what we can get done. but we got him unlocked. And as you can see, he's sitting at a very nice, what I would say is optimal Respect 3. I'd be curious to hear what Mouth of Sauron builds everyone runs. But obviously, if I have extra points and I had the R5, could get some extra damage for the trolls and the orcs. Between these two skills, I think if I ran a troll orc build, that would be good. And Dishearten's a good ability as well. But in terms of points that I'll have left, I have about 16 points left. So we'll see how much we'd even have to go into those, because I still want to max out Enfeeble, Master of Mischief, and Disruption. So that is Mouth of Sauron. Extremely happy with that. And then Lurtz, who is also sitting at a very nice optimal Respect 3, which is optimal for him. We have been opening the Shadows Arise chest. We've opened it 37 out of 50 times. In fact, we have one Mathem. We'll open it right here, see what happens. And some Mathem vouchers and a couple other things. Not a huge fan of the Mathem vouchers. But we are opening this, so 38 times. And we did full pull Lurtz from this chest. Again, it is a 1% chance compared to, I think, 0.6% in the other chest. So you have a slightly better chance. And when you're free to play, you kind of got to take all you can get. So that was another, with opening this and getting Lurtz's items and then getting the full pull, that was just ideal. That might not happen for you. I do think, as you go through and as you can grab Lurtz's items as you see them, which we'll talk about Mathem Exchange in a second. I do think doing the chest, opening all of them, again, time-wise, I don't think there's a time limit on it. It's just for season 1. So my goal will be to see if I can open 50 of these before the season ends, which I think will happen for sure. But that is the Shadows Arise chest. That is the commander situation. So our Lurtz is at optimal. Our Mouth of Sauron's at optimal Respect. We're 1 away on Khaldun. And honestly, I think Grima, I think is still very useful, but I do think an extra going to Respect 3 and using the Survivor and Prudence with second in command and Wormtongue would be a really, really good combination. So I really want 1 more Respect on both of these guys. And then these guys, I would say, are pretty optimal. And then I think I'm going to be in an excellent place for some PvP. We actually already have had some. If you want to see here, I've got a whopping 14,000 prestige fighting with Erebor and now Lothlorien a little bit. So we're getting ready to gear up for some more of that. But that's my commander situation. In terms of gear, nothing crazy. I've had 1 gold pull with the Warborn battle plate. And then I've got some purples here and there. Some through different chests. Some, I got a battle axe with Flay, which once I can strengthen up is going to be fantastic on Lurtz. So again, one point I'm going to talk about in a second is how to kind of use your gear, what you should do with it, what things are worth refining and upgrading, which things are not. But this is a quick snapshot of what I've got here. I didn't have crazy luck, but have had some solid luck and some optimal effects on the gear. Lastly, before we get into some quick tips, and then we'll wrap the video up, I wanted to show you what the map looks like here. So we're playing as Rune over on the far right of the map and are pushing just in the only direction we really can. We've experienced some PvP with Loth and with Erebor, having a great time. Again, so far the server activity's been really good. As you can see, it looks like there's some activity in every faction, which is really, really cool. I think Arnor might be one of the lower ones, but still, we've got activity kind of all over the place, and it seems like the servers, having a really good time. So that is the state of the map there. And now I wanted to get into 4 tips. I kind of mentioned them as we went through the update, but I wanted to show you some things that I did and I'm learning as I continue with this free-to-play experience. Number 1 is going to be the Mathem Exchange. So the Mathem Exchange, if you're not familiar, is you go to the Mathem Peddler, his a little shop here, and click the exchange button, and you've got your gear here, which I would not worry about unless there is something very, 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 very specific you're looking for that you really need for refinement, or you're looking for a specific ability. I wouldn't bother with this. I would save your vouchers for Respect items. So you click this tab here, and we've got Respect items showing up here. We're not going to do the Commander gift packs. We're looking for the specific ones. This is not something that was around earlier in the game, so I think this is a huge advantage for free-to-play players. This is what happened with Mouth of Sauron for me. I full pulled Mouth of Sauron, and his items started showing up in the shop. So everything that wasn't going towards commanders I already had. In fact, I had some items for Ugluk, for example, who I don't personally think would be really worth giving Respect items to unless you have nobody else and you really want to run Ugluk. But I got rid of my Ugluk items and extra ones. I even got rid of a few Lurtz items because before I had him to get Mouth of Sauron where he is, because I knew I'd be getting more Lurtz ones as time went on. So you want to always check the exchange, and you kind of got to work with what you get. So if you full pull someone, get them to optimal Respect, or if you're really close getting someone, maybe you're still just chasing Lurtz and want to make sure you have enough to get him to R3 when you do unlock him. Check this for that. Like Gothmog, for example, he's in the red book a lot, so I think I have 4 of his items right now. I'm not going to start buying these just yet, but if I did full pull him and wanted to get him to his optimal Respect, I'd be looking out for this. Again, we can do our refreshes every day here. One thing I wish they would add to the game is tier 1 Respect items. If I could buy the Kine Horns for Khaldun, if that showed up, even if there wasn't that, I don't know if that would be too game breaking, but for a free to play, if there was a blue section, and you know, maybe there were 25, whatever it is, and you can buy 10 of them, maybe 5, I don't know, whatever the number is, that would be amazing. But always check here and be smart with your items. You don't just give respect to everyone. If you don't have them or you're not using them or they're already at optimal respect, save those items. So I'm sitting on my Gothmog items now. So if I need them for something, if I need them to push someone else up that I pull, if I end up not getting Gothmog, I've got them ready for vouchers. And if I get Gothmog, then I've got them sitting here ready to go. So that's the Mathem Exchange. Use it to your advantage because it's going to help you get commanders in a much better spot. Now, speaking of commanders to focus on, I want to do another sub point on vouchers, just in terms of who you should focus on, because again, it depends on who you're playing as. This is going to be an evil snapshot. If you've got a question about good commanders, either check out the Discord or leave a comment. We'll see if we can help you out. But basically, you got to really look through this and decide who is going to be worth going for. Now, if you happen to full pull someone and they have a more optimal respect level over 0, I think it's worth putting respect into them. But just do your research a little bit. Again, join in the Discord and share if you pull someone. Hey, is this person going to be worth it? Because even though you pull Ugluck, you might think, well, he's got kind of an Urkai build at R5, so I could push that there. But I don't think he's going to see that much return on investment there, getting him all the way to R5. Whereas you might be better off being patient and giving that to someone like Lotr or Kamul. So I would say, I'm not going to give like a super definitive, like do and don't do these ones, but just ask questions, either hop in the Discord, leave a comment, whatever it is, get a hold of someone. I think Gothmog, I think Mouth of Sauron, I think Lotr, I think Kamul would probably be my top 4 choices for exchange items if I pulled them, or if I was saving and going for one, be one of those. Other than that, the other guys, I would probably use theirs to get more tickets. Again, there are builds for the other ones. There can be situations, and if we get them, we may give them a try to see what they look like, and maybe you've got one that surprised you. I know, again, Azure Core has a sniper build at the R5, so who knows? Maybe you pull him and you want to go for it. I've seen some crazy damage reports there, but you kind of want to just, when you're free to play, you got to be really careful with who you focus on. Don't focus on too many things. And you should hopefully get some commanders going at good respect levels. Next point is going to be to do all events. Now, this one seems obvious, but I was actually kind of guilty of this, and it was a little bit out of my control. But you do get rewards for doing all these events. So like Master of the Forge came up. Do not miss Master of the Forge. It is a crazy good event. Anytime there's anything going on that you get gems, things that are not locked by season, you want to do those as much as possible. The one I didn't do is Heart of a Hero. I missed out on 400 gems and a Mathem. But there were not a lot of Balrogs in our area. Every time we would check, they were way out of our range, so couldn't do a lot here. But again, I would 100% suggest, even as free to play, getting these speed ups is very helpful. So always check what events are going up, check what's coming up, coordinate with your faction, with your fellowship, and knock those events out. Get those rewards done, especially if there's an event going on like the Flowers in Bloom. Doing all these things, unlocking this gets you different gems, Mathem, speed ups, all that good stuff. Doing the floral feud. As it's a matching game, it's not that big of a deal, but those things get you, the spins for the wheel here, and all of a sudden you might pull yourself a tier 2. So do those events, even if you're not like a crazy fan of them, just knock them out, get the rewards. They can be very worth it. Next, I want to talk about how to spend gems. Now, gems are very few and far between, so you have to be careful here, and I've been very guilty of using mine in bad ways because I get impatient during PvP. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If I'm marching troops and I need to speed up the march home, or on the apothecary, if you can help it, don't use your gems in the apothecary. Use speed ups if you have them. Obviously, if you're in PvP and you really feel like you need to, you can do what you want. But the things that I spend my gems on, and I try to, is on the rare treasures. I like to do the 200. I'm not right now because I have a little bit less than I'd like, so I'm saving just a little chunk because you never know what you're going to need. But I like to do with my free pull, I do the 200 here, and then I like to do at least one refresh of the tips, because not only do tips get you XP, help level up your commanders, you get gear and you get respect for commanders, which adds up over time. So if you stay on that, if you're doing about 8 tips a day, if you refresh once, knock those out, you're going to get gear. I mean, I pulled the battle axe with Flay from a tip for Alert. So as I get that going, this is a very, I'd say, optimal piece for him, for a damage commander, whoever I want to use. So I would definitely say, do those tips, do a refresh. That's 400 gems a day, which can be pricey, so you got to prioritize kind of what you're thinking. And again, I would almost suggest tips over the Mathem for 200. I mean, the 200 is not, it's very good, but sometimes you do that and you don't really get a whole lot. Whereas from the tips, you can get some better ones that are guaranteed respect for commanders. You can get some ones that have higher % chances for gear. You can also get blue gear, and it's like, may not have been worth it that time. But again, those are 2 things I would focus on above like apothecary. Sometimes I'll do market if I absolutely need a certain resource. But again, gold, resources, all that stuff goes away every season. So you got to think gems stay forever, gear stays forever. What doesn't stay forever? Resources, gold. So just be careful when using gems on those items. And last but not least, again, there's probably a dozen points we can make, and I've made a lot, but I'm trying to summarize this so it's not too terribly long. But the last one is just to be patient with your gear. I have a lot of gear here that I could upgrade all. You know, I could have one purple headpiece or helmet, one piece of armor, one weapon, whatever it is. But I'm being a little bit more patient to wait for optimal effects, waiting to see what else I get. Because even if you look at like my Easterling Spear, for example, if I go over to my Mouth of Sarn, he's got this Easterling Spear on him. Compared to this broad axe that Khaldun has, I'm actually getting more might, the same army attack for melee, and melee might is giving the same percentage increase for troop damage, but it's for all melee units, not just for mounted units. So honestly, the broad axe to me is a better choice right now than a 2 times strengthened purple, and that's going to be the case with everything. So be patient with your purple gear. Don't just throw it on them right away. Don't just upgrade it right away. Wait for those optimal effects. Again, I got a couple of bone masks. I'm hoping to get one with Hysteria because that would be one, in my opinion, worth putting the other gear into and refining up. So I might check the exchange for that. If I had one come up for 300, it was a bone mask. Maybe I grab that to either refine further or strengthen. Again, adding that to someone like a Grima or Mouth of Sauron as a free-to-play could be pretty crazy. But be patient with it. Be slow to upgrade. You know, I have a gold on Khaldun right now because at the point I put it on, I didn't have a ton of extra stuff. But again, you can see if I click on this in terms of the might, Lurch is getting more might right here from the rough breastplate with 15. I do get a couple extra substats which are good, but to be honest, the rough breastplate is a better go than the gold, and that's going to be the case for a while. So be slow to upgrade to those next tiers. You know, rely on your blue gear for as long as possible. Look for those effects that give you, those percent increases. Even if it's just 1.5%, it does add up. So again, there's a few tips for you. There's an update on the free-to-play account. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We are streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you want to join the Discord, that's linked down below. We put information out about streams and stuff all the time. So if you want to check that out and join us over there for, we live stream the free-to-play account. We live stream our main accounts, all that good stuff. It's a blast. So check that out. Links are in the description. And as always, I will see you all in a future video.